Hey, good morning. So I've been struggling with my cameras and stuff, so that's why I haven't made a video in a few days. I'll try and get back on it, maybe like New Year's time. How about that? The circumstance, how it works out like that. So just make one quick video about Mandela effect. Because it's important. If you know anybody, if the 5 people who watch my videos know anybody who struggles with Mandela effect, please, I don't know, maybe this will help you talk to them. But so we are seeing differences in reality. We are seeing differences between how we remember things and how they actually are presented to us. Not only in pictures online, but I've held a can of Febreze and it ain't spelled the same. Now I don't know if that can was originally spelled the same or not. I can't confirm where and how these changes occur, but they are they are occurring in a very unusual manner. So I just want to say, if you are wrestling with the Mandela effect, that you can take refuge in Scripture, like absolute refuge in Scripture, and everything I present like I've learned from my own experience, and I've wrestled with these things, and I wouldn't say nothing about it if I hadn't gone through something as pertinent to what I'm saying or relative. And I gotta say that Salvador Dali, you can look him up, he was an artist in the early 1900s. He did a painting of Jesus Christ on the 4-dimensional, was crucified on the 4-dimensional cube. If you don't know what that looks like, you got to look into it. It has to do with how things appear to things in other dimensions. What a 3-dimensional object would look like in a 2-dimensional world if it were to pass through. So, but Dali did a painting of Jesus Christ crucified on the 4-dimensional cube, symbolizing that his sacrifice and that his divinity, his absolute over all dimensions of existence, over all dimensions. So, and I want to say, throughout history, people have put their life into understanding and reading and studying the Bible. And they have always, every time you go back to the Bible, you can reread the same verse and get something new out of it every time, like you had never even read it before. And for me personally, the prime example of this was Ezekiel 31. Ezekiel 31 for me, like I read it at some point many years ago, and I highlighted the whole chapter, and it meant something profound. I loved it. I don't highlight a whole chapter unless it's like, wow, there's a whole something there. So I went back. I got some new information as I got older. I learned some things about the world that we're living in, and I went back and I reread Ezekiel 31, and it was brand new, the whole chapter. And it spoke to something that I hadn't learned until recently. And this was also years ago from this point. But it spoke to something I had just learned then. And what it had meant to me so profound was gone. I couldn't remember it anymore because it had transformed completely. But all this being said, what we're seeing in the world with the Mandela effect, with the way that things are changing, we're looking at them and they're not like when we saw them before. They're not like how we always knew them to be, including some parts of Scripture. To that I have to say, take refuge in the message of Jesus Christ, because it's like reality's catching up to Scripture. Scripture has always had this character to it, this nature to it. So relax, take refuge in God, because this isn't anything new. Alright? So we can wrestle with it and try and figure it out and not deny it when it presents itself to us, but we don't need to be all worked up about it. And we don't need to get all carried away and fancy, unverifiable explanations of it, because I got a whole bunch of those, but I've been looking into stuff. But it's all circumstantial when you start talking about really high technology, or magic as some would consider it to even be. Arthur C. Clarke said any substantially advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic, and vice versa. Magic is indistinguishable from technology. It's just manipulation of energy. So just take refuge in the message of Jesus Christ, because it is absolutely, it's fixed across all perceptions of reality and whatever's going on. All right, I love you guys. God bless. Happy New Year.